All right, so I'm gonna take a look at base running today. Just something that I picked up from a guy at Cressy Sports Performance. They're based out of Florida, but they also have a school in Massachusetts. Um, you know, when I talk about hitting, uh, I was going to swear there, but I'm not going to. I always talk down on people that say this is how I was always taught, and that's why they teach what they do. So I'm going to say that right now. The way I was always taught, when we were to get our lead, whatever it was, that we would take, basically, I'm looking at Dee Gordon on top here, and then this is Andrew McCutcheon down here. And also going to include a link of Starling Marte doing the same thing. But just to look down at Cutch here for a second, the way I was always taught is, when you took off for second base, the most efficient thing to do was to drive this leg, you know, um, towards the bag and then get a good punch with this left arm going that way. And, one of the things that, you know, I kind of picked up from the Cressy Sports Performance people was the idea of shin angles and how to create them. And, I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination on base running. But I took this information to, our base running guy at Bethel Park, who, is an expert at base running, and, brought it to his attention. And, he said that this has been a debate for a while, and I didn't know that. And further, he kind of said that, kids should try what works best for them, and whatever they're faster at, they should do. So with that in mind, I figured I would throw this out there. And if anybody wants to give it a shot, and maybe they're better at this angle, or they have a faster time, and maybe that's something they want to employ instead of doing it the old-fashioned way, which I was taught. So it all kind of starts with what's called shin angles here. So what they're trying to do is get this shin on an angle to second base as quickly as possible. And the way I've heard it described is it's a plyometric step. So the first thing that's going to move is not going to be the left foot. It's going to be the right foot. And it's really interesting. And I actually kind of, in my unathletic shape right now, I actually tried this a few times and just thought it through, and it did make a lot of sense to me. So what I'm going to try to do here is kind of move this along to where the runner takes his first step. So give me a second here. All right, there's D, and you can see it right there. There's Dee Gordon on top. There's Cutch on the bottom right there. Okay, so what's kind of happening here is you'll see, Mr. Gordon here is one of the best base stealers in baseball. He'll create that plyo step and move his shin on an angle towards second base before he's going to cross over with that leg. And the top arm really does nothing. So the old notion that using the left arm to help you generate momentum, I don't want to say it's ignored, but it's less important than the bottom half, according to these guys that specialize on speed and speed conditioning, if there is such a thing. But it's funny, you'll see guys with higher top speed do this and beat guys. I'm sorry, you'll see guys with poor top speed do this and beat guys with really good top speed doing it the old way. So I thought it was interesting. But you could just take a look at Dee Gordon here. Watch what he does with this foot here, this leg. He's going to try to create a little jab step or a plyo step, as they say, and get his shin angle going. What he's trying to do, the way it was explained to me and the way that I can kind of make sense of it, he's trying to get this foot underneath and inside his knee. And by doing that, the body automatically gets on an angle where it's going to be lower, faster, and lower is faster. So to get to a lower position quickly, I guess I shouldn't say fast, to get to a lower position quickly is going to help you. And they're also very big on the lean. By getting that foot inside the knee, I guess you could say, if I were to cut Cutch, oh, that's a bad line. If I cut Cutch here, to get that foot inside that knee is going to create more of a lean, which apparently is also faster. So, just a different take on the stealing bases here and being a little quicker to the bag. And I just was fascinated by it, and I thought it was something that I would share. And anytime you can learn more about the game, I think it's a good thing. One of the things guys that really know a lot about baseball together. So I always love talking baseball with guys that know what they're talking about. Is, you know, when we're talking to other people, we talk about what we know. And when I talk with other baseball guys, I talk about stuff I don't know because I try to learn what they think and see if I can make sense of it and maybe help, my players get a little bit better. So I love talking with guys that, know baseball because we get together and talk about stuff we don't know and come up with something that maybe would work. So this is an example of that. So I'm going to clear this up, and I just want you to key on, Gordon's front foot here, okay? Now watch him take this foot back as he goes. See, there's that plyo step. And I can illustrate this with the line he's made. Do you see the line in the dirt there? I mean, let me clear that up. It's almost like here. Like there's a red line right there. Okay? Actually, it's a little bit behind that. It's about here. Okay? So he's going to take that foot, and you would think that going backwards would be slower, right? And, again, that's the way I was taught. And they would take this foot and cross over, but that's not what happens. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to move that foot even further back and get his shin angle going to second base right there. See that? So before he has moved his left foot, his right foot has fired right there. Okay? Getting himself into a shin angle, getting low and leaning. And there he goes. Okay? And we see this down here. Now, Cutch isn't as pronounced at this as Dee Gordon is. And in the Starling Marte video that I'm going to post as a link underneath this this little video here, you'll see Starling Marte do something more like Dee Gordon. And some of the really great base stealers are more like Dee Gordon and Starling. But, I thought Cutch, being a local guy, would take a look at him and see if I could, find the same thing. And though it's not as pronounced as Dee Gordon, it's certainly a plyo step. Okay, so let's just take a look and focus on Cutch down here now. Andrew McCutcheon, center fielder for the Pirates. Now watch, his foot's going to get behind there and create that lean. Okay, right there. Okay, see his foot comes behind. It starts there. It gets behind him and inside his knee. It's got to be inside of the knee to create that lean. So before his left foot moves, he's creating that lean. Just thought that was interesting. And then you're going to see the left crossover step. And notice how the upper half's really not doing a whole lot of anything. Okay? So the whole punch thing doesn't exist. The old, what I was always taught. So I just thought that was a really interesting thing. The whole shin angles and creating lean and the plyo step. And, I just thought it was fascinating. So let me back up Dee Gordon over here, and maybe I can run them together. Let's try that. So both of these guys, they're going to kind of do the same thing right there. See that plyo step? And then they're going to go to their target. So, again, who knows if that's the better way to do it, but, I'll default to Coach Joe. When he told me when we were discussing this, he said, try it, whatever works best for you, whatever you're faster with, make that your bread and butter because, the object is to get better. And if you're better doing this, do this. If you're better the other way, do it the other way.